How you doing everyone? I'm Jake and this is Rave Vinyl Reminiscence, the channel where we share our passion for hardcore from around 91 to 95. Time for another crack at stimulating your eardrums, dragging your souls out onto the dance floor and perhaps even tempting some wallets as we immerse ourselves in a flat out frenzy with F Project Records. How we doing all? Grabbed a bit of time this weekend to record the last parts of this episode. Another mixtape creation episode with a set that I recorded at the end of last week. Listened to it at full volume in my car for the first time this morning. I think it's pretty killer. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. Now, I want to point out while it's on my mind, I've still got to remove these subweights from the arse end of my tone arms. Something which Robert pointed out to me in the comments quite a while back. I've been putting it off because it means I've got to mess around again with the counterweighting. But it will mean I can finally lose that ugly insulation tape up near my styluses. A few of you have commented on that now. So that's one of a number of things on my list. But to be fair, any spare time I've got at the moment is still immersed in the joyful business of going through the pile of new tunes that a mate of mine, which I mentioned in the last episode, has given me. Loads of tasty stuff in there for the future for you, I can tell you. And a couple of them in this set. So, continuing my mission of building up a new catalogue of vinyl mixtapes. Going through my collection and some of these new tunes, I realised that there's a bloody great label that I've largely missed for the last 30 years. Now I say largely overlooked because I was aware of F Project and I've had a few releases on that label for a number of years. But I really did not appreciate just how many quality tunes have been pressed on this label. This is a great example of how after all these years, I can still keep finding hidden treasures in this genre of music that we all love. The Tune ID episodes demonstrate that every month. So I've picked out a bunch of my favourites from this label. Not all, just some I can present to you for your listening pleasure. Now if you're a vinyl collector and you're not super familiar with this label, then I apologise up front, because you might want to get ready to suddenly want a load of new tunes from Discogs. These are bangers. So a bit of background before we start. For those of you who don't already know, F Project ran from 1992 to 1994. And was a sub-label of the mighty Formation Records. It was run by Mark Yorath, better known as EQ. Mark was also Formation's engineer at the time. There's plenty to choose from looking at the Discogs inventory, 30-something releases, many of which I don't own, but I think I've pretty much got the best of them to my taste anyway. To be completely fair and objective, some of these presses aren't right up there with the highest in audio quality. But what they lack in that arena, they more than make up for in dynamics, creativity and pure class. Across the board, these releases are really varied in style and there's a bit of something for everyone. So for this set, I've picked out 10 tracks from 6 different releases, all from 92 and 93. Now as always, there's a few great tunes on this label that aren't going into this mix, but I've picked a selection that work well together and kept the set from somewhere around 30 to 45 minutes to replicate one side of an old mixed cassette tape. Like before, I'll be releasing the full set in the next video, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, so pulling out the first tune for the start of this journey. A nice set starter for the opening chapter. These releases were numbered white 1 to I think it's 33. This is number 11 and it's Universal Sound, who by the way was Jim Polo and Neil Vass, otherwise known as Too Sinister. After that nice steady unravelling, the drums kick in proper and then we hit this nice dark patch. Then about 3/4 of the way through, the tune hits the first of two real sort of laid-back sections where we take a breather. So after a brief run, we hit the second layback and we're queuing up the next mix. Real change of flavour coming up now with this next tune. So that next track is the A side of Turbo Sound 2. We're going to return to the flip side of Universal a bit later in the mix. This track, many of you will know it even if you didn't know what it was. The Turbo Sound was Jamie Quinn and Paul Thompson, otherwise known as International Rude Boys. This is a lovely, lively, positive track with a very hard hitting amen break. The tune chops and changes, loads of real good party sounds here, like this section here with the Manic sample. But it's the breakdown section halfway through this tune that I love the most. The way it builds in intensity, and as the Can You Feel It vocal sample comes in, there's these beautiful pulses of bass that come in, and then the drums kick off, it's just the nuts. So good that. So we're ready for the next mix. As the Turbo Sound track drops down into one of its signature sounds again, we'll cue up the next tune, throw it in for a nice run together with the I Can't Stand It's, then a bit of a clean drum section, and then chuck it over just on the vocal sample. next tune is the flip side of the Universal track that we started with. Nice atmospheric tune, very contemplative in its nature, a little bit laid back in places, but really starts to build like a pace, a bit of a pace setting tune. Okay, so next mix, and this is a fun one, quality tune coming in now, and the intro to this is perfect for a little bit of chopping about and having a bit of fun with before they kick together full steam ahead. Oh yeah, this is the A-side of Mega 2. Mega Drive was a collaboration of Adam Cuthbert, Steve Taylor, Toby Ansel and Marcus McNeil. This is a filthy little number. I think you'll enjoy ringing the living daylights out of that when you hear it in the full mix. Okay, next tune. Let's roll it in.
Just a funky beat, 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 just a funky beat.
The vibe of these tunes, I loved recording this set. This is the return of Ozbeat. Ozbeat being Frank Warwick and Ricky Smith, otherwise known as Octavia. Now I called these tunes dynamic, but it's like the different flavours from this label in this set are so cool. Nice and powerful. So I want this tune to run all the way to the end, and then the next track starts off with this like weird mysterious little vocal, which I'll just throw straight in.
All we hear is this.
So I love the way that creates that little pause and then kicks us off for like chapter 2 of this set. And that next track is by Fourth Dimension. Now this may cause some confusion because this Fourth Dimension is Nick Dickens. Fourth Dimension is a name also used by Dave Charlesworth. Now something very worthy to take into account is that Nick was apparently only 15 when he done this, which is incredible. I love this next section, man. Listen to this like echoey sound of like seagulls or crows or something coming through. Nick, man, child protege if that's true. Right, next mix, and we're going to return back to the flip side of the return of Ozbeat. Nice punchy drums coming in, so a little bit of chopping and then throw it in. See what I'm saying about these samples, made for such a tasty set. This tune, lovely, atmospheric again, big punchy bass cone stretching drums. Okay, so next tune, and we're returning to the Mega 2 release again. And these two tunes together in a mix are so powerful. Nice long run. I want to hear this on a big system.
We'll work until it's time. We'll work until it's time. We'll work until it's
B-side this time. This next section reminds me of a sound that would go on and on in my brain while I was lying in bed trying to go to sleep after being out raving all night. Remember that? Dancing away to the nightclub in your head? Okay, next mix. Quality release this. One of the tunes on this I've already played in a previous episode, but this is a great track, fits perfectly in this set. Let's cue it up, let's go. Second track, B-side, Nexus and Blowback, Booming Tunes Volume 1. Nexus and Blowback being DJ Nexus and Sam Tierney. So the Totally Cabbaged remix on this is the nuts, but like I say, I played that in a previous episode. This track's quality though. This section here is blissful. Very nice indeed. Okay, so we're on to the last mix now, and I've saved my favourite tune for this set till the end. I want this set to go out with a proper bang. We're returning to the Fourth Dimension release. This is currently my new favourite piano hardcore track. It's quality. The energy is beautiful in this tune. Now bear in mind when you hear this and when you play it in the full set again, Nick Dickens, 15 years old apparently. I mean, even if he was like just turned 16, it's just amazing. It's a proper goosebumper. They threw it out there. It's a proper goosebumper. This mix absolutely was buzzing doing this mix. Little playing about with it, introducing some of the sounds, chopping bits over, and then in it comes, man. This is amazing. This track has had me dancing around my house a number of times since I recently acquired it. I love it. When you listen to it in the full mix, just note this. Whether it's from the piano or exiting, the drums, every single loop of 8 is doing something. It's building, it's layering up with intensity. It's so dynamic. It's a great, great tune. And it takes this set out on such a high. I'm really looking forward to you all having a listen to it, which you can of course do in the very next video. So hopefully you've enjoyed this journey through this fantastic record label. As I said at the beginning, there's plenty of tunes pressed on this label that I haven't played here that are great. I recommend you look at the back catalogue. And also just such a joy again, after all these years, to suddenly find a load of tunes that I love that I didn't own and I didn't realise even existed, some of them. Maybe that's been the same for you in this episode too. I'll sign off by saying, as always, love to you all, thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next episode.